Have you ever procrastinated? And if so, have you ever wondered why you procrastinate so much and how you can stop doing it? That's exactly what we'll be looking at today. Because to get out of a bad habit, you need to first become aware of it, which is probably a given in your case since you're here. And secondly, you need to know why you procrastinate so that you can change your behaviors and stop it. Procrastination is not a problem, it is only the symptom. And by the way, I'll give you down the road a couple of tips to finally put a stop to it. Also, I'll tell you later why I sound and look so beaten right now and why I'm recording that video so beaten. So, first, let's see if I'm gonna finish it. Number one cause of procrastination is definitely stress. Stress comes first all the way. And you can be stressed about one thing or another, like your finances, your family, your relationship, traffic. In short, stress is absolutely everywhere. And what's happening when we are completely stressed out? First thing we do is to look for ways to relax, to give our brain a break. So putting off the start of a project or a task or any to-do list can make you feel like you are relaxing. Like watching Netflix, playing Candy Crush or Angry Birds, or just going on Facebook, just for 15 minutes. We deserve it so much, we need to relax. But again, this is exactly like the smoking syndrome. When we are smokers, we always say to ourselves, I'll take a little smoke, just to relax, when in fact it only increases your heart rate. So what happened next? We get even more stressed. Our stress has doubled. The task is still there, but now we have less time to finish it. Now, if you look at this from another angle, when we are stressed out, our brain gives us only three ways out. Either we freeze in front of the situation, or we run away from it, or even we can fight. In this case, it's either we freeze or we run away from it by doing a ton of other things instead of the task that's stressing us out. And for that to happen, it doesn't have to be like a sudden violent stress. It can just be like an overload in our head. Traffic going to the office or coming back home induces a lot of stress on us. And it's the same for all those little constant stress that we have every day. And those little constant stresses do exactly the same to our brain as if it was a life-threatening stress. It plays the same role in our brain. It triggers the same responses. And these responses in our brains are remnants of our caveman ancestor, where their life was in danger from any attacks. The only thing is, during our caveman days, if the danger had not eating us, the stress would stop after some moment and we could relax quietly afterwards. Now today we have these stress responses almost 24/7. It's just crazy. So no wonder we look for all the ways to relax, the good ones and the bad ones too. So it won't be a surprise if I tell you that the need to relax, to lower your pressure and to take it easy has never been so important in the human history. So I don't need to list all the ways to relax that you already know, but I'll tell you that taking full day breaks or 2 weeks vacations is not the way to do it. Instead, get into an habit of relaxing 2-3 times a day, like taking a short walk or just taking the time to breathe. Make sure to stay away from stressful things like all the bad news that you can hear on radio going to the office or coming back home, and instead put on some music that you really like. Now, another thing to keep in mind is that it's always said that you should love the path more than the goal itself. Now, imagine that the path is painful and the goal is not worth it, or the goal is unclear to you. That takes you straight to procrastination and even into trouble, just like me. Like when I was at the University of Moncton in psychology, I had to hand in a paper on the history of psychology, a 27-page essay. And it was one of the last assignment of the last semester, and I had good grades so far, so I was sure to pass my year, and I didn't want to do that work. There was always something else more fun to do than a freaking essay. And I've waited until the last night before starting on the project. Imagine writing 27 pages in one night only. Procrastination times 1,000. Thank God I had learned how to type very fast on a keyboard before that. But the bottom line is, I decided to inspire myself on the work of a friend who had done the course the previous year. The results, I had a visit to the professor's office, who was in the last week of his career. So he looked at me with the most disappointing look. I have his face in my head forever. He said, "You are lucky that I don't want to end my career with a case of plagiarism." He was so pissed. He gave me like 10% on that essay. Ouch. Shame on me big time. I'm not proud of that at all. The result of this work wasn't like very important to me. The process of finishing was harder and more painful than the final results. But once I got to the time limit, the stress came on board and I made a very, very bad decision. I almost didn't have time to think about all my options and I took the easiest one. I'm sure you've been in a similar situation where the work involved in the task at hand seemed much harder than what you'd gain from it. And you decided at the last minute to take a shortcut. The only thing here is that the payoff from this job should have been my pride. Pride in finishing the year right, pride in a job well done. Instead, I still have 25 years later the feeling of incredible disappointment that went through that professor and myself. I can tell you that after that, I've never waited so long to finish an assignment. I now had the preset payoff for each assignment, my pride, and most of all, I didn't want to go through that disappointment again. So the easiest trick here is to bring out the positives of a task well done. Don't forget your pride and take a task and establish the payoff of doing that task to the best of your ability. Then look at the consequences of being last minute and having a chance to botch completely your project. You will see that most of the time the decision to procrastinate will no longer be the one you choose. Now let's assume that you actually find it worth your time. But right now you find that you have plenty of time in front of you to do that project. And when we think we have plenty of time to do something, guess what? Yes, we put it off until tomorrow. Then we get to the deadline with no time left. This is so well known and documented that La Fontaine made it one of his most popular fables with his famous rabbit who was sleeping during the race. The best method, proven more than once by ex-procrastinators, is to separate your project into 5, 10, 15 mini projects. This will give you many deadlines instead of just having like one big at the end. So you'll have like 10, 15 mini goals to accomplish for your project, which will give you 10 to 15 wins. And as we saw in the video, how to trick your brain to love doing hard things, the wins, big or small, will increase your self-confidence, keep you motivated, and also create momentums towing your ultimate goals. Basically, what you need to do is to take a page from your calendar or agenda and write down those sub-goals with deadlines for each one. You'll have them in front of you every single day and you'll be much more likely to get started. Finally, the most insidious point is your internal dialogue. Once we start procrastinating and call ourselves procrastinators, we register it until we believe it ourselves. And once we believe we are something, guess what? Yes, we become more and more so, which reinforce our inner dialogue. Psychologists call that the self-fulfilling prophecy, meaning that you will act accordingly to meet your expectation, which for us here is, I'm a procrastinator, so you'll do everything to meet that expectation. The story is the excuses for not doing anything and not moving forwards often start with a belief that we are indeed procrastinators. So you have to change that internal dialogue. As we saw in the video on anxiety, this dialogue we have with ourselves plays a major role in continuing to be one even after we become aware of it. So now, you have to accept that you were before a procrastinator, and that's okay. But now you're moving on, and you're not anymore. And you are a person who seeks fulfillment, serenity in what you do, and likes to use all your creativity to complete a project that will be worthy of your talent. And it's so important that That will be part of an entire video pretty soon on this channel, so if you don't want to miss it, I invite you to subscribe to the channel and click the bell to be notified when it comes out. Now, the last big trick is to surround yourself properly. My favorite way of doing this is really to be part of a mastermind group. It consists of 6 to 8 people sharing the same values who meet to discuss their different challenges and also especially keep each other accountable. The mastermind in which were really the most successful were those where we met like for 2 hours per week, all 8 of us, and then we choose like a partner that we will call every day for 10 minutes maximum, just to make sure that we are making progress on our project. For me, it is definitely the biggest tip to stop procrastinating. And I'm sure that as soon as you'll try all these tips and tricks and you get a taste for all the positive of being more productive, more creative, and delivering much better results, you'll never want to go back. So at the beginning of the video, I told you that I would tell you exactly why I decided to shoot that video completely beat it, had to take pills to shoot that video, and why it's related to that topic too, procrastination. Right now, I'm stuck with COVID, so I'm completely passed out. 3 weeks ago, I've started a challenge with Creator Now. And we need to create like 1 long form video and 1 short per week. So that's not that bad at all. But I also have like a French channel where I also put out 1 long video per week. And finally, I have 2 businesses to run. And I have to do all the videos that are due for the week the same week, which is pretty much like procrastination. And now, even beating up, I have no choice but to shoot the video since the video must be out by Saturday and we're filming this on Wednesday and it takes like a good 10 hours to edit each video. So in order not to let down my team and Creator Now, I told myself, tired not tired, a man's got to do what a man's got to do. And here I am shooting that video and finishing it. All that to say, procrastination can also put you in a similar situation where you have no idea what will happen at the last minute and which could prevent you from doing your project altogether. Telling you, it's not worth it at all. Let me know down in the comments if I delivered a great video for you with useful tips and info. All right? Cheers.